21 miles wide, a quarter of the world's seaborne oil, 20% of global LNG. The Strait of Hormuz is not just a shipping lane, it is the single most critical energy choke point on the planet. And right now, for the first time in modern history, it is effectively closed. Traffic is down to 5% of normal. 1,550 vessels stranded. 22,500 seafarers trapped. If you work in offshore energy, this is not background noise. This is your operational reality. Here's the sequence. February 28, 2026. US and Israeli coordinated strikes on Iran. Operation Epic Fury. Supreme Leader Khamenei killed. By March 2nd, the IRGC officially declared the strait closed to unfriendly nations. By March 4th, the IRGC declared full control. Sea mines laid. Vessels boarded. Maersk, MSC, CMA CGM, Hapag-Lloyd. Every major carrier suspended transits within days. War risk insurance canceled March 5th. The strait didn't just become dangerous. It became commercially unpassable. The UKMTO logged over 41 vessel incidents in weeks. The CMA CGM San Antonio, hit by a cruise missile May 3rd, 8 crew injured. Iran briefly announced reopening April 21st. Vessels surged toward the strait. 24 hours later, closed again. As of today, open transits are running at approximately 5% of pre-war levels, down from 138 vessels per day before the conflict began. Now here's what most coverage misses, what this actually means inside an offshore operation. The stranded vessels aren't just tankers, they're supply ships, the ones carrying replacement parts, critical components, OEM spares, and the engineers who install them. When the strait closes, your logistics pipeline closes with it. Think about what that means practically. A VFD trips on a critical pump. Normally, you call the OEM, they courier the board, it arrives in 72 hours. Right now, that courier is sitting on an anchored vessel somewhere east of Fujairah, waiting for a ceasefire. A gas detection panel throws a fault. Your PCB supplier is in Europe. No transit, no insurance coverage, no timeline. This isn't hypothetical. This is the conversation happening in maintenance teams across the Gulf right now. And the uncomfortable question underneath all of it is, how dependent is your platform on supply chains that no longer exist? Qatar Energy already invoked force majeure. Brent crossed $90. Asian LNG surged 54% in a single week. The Halal 69, a Qatar-flagged offshore vessel, was struck by debris near Ras Laffan. The offshore industry isn't watching this crisis from a distance. It's inside it. So what separates operations that manage this from operations that shut down? It comes down to three things, and they all had to be in place before the crisis hit. First, spares independence. Critical boards, control panels, instrumentation. If your backup plan is an international shipment, you don't have a backup plan right now. The operations holding steady today built regional or on-site redundancy before they needed it. Second, legacy system resilience. Many platforms across the Gulf are running control systems on components that are already discontinued by the OEM. One board failure, no replacement available, no courier route, that's an unplanned production shutdown. The answer to that is reverse engineering and local recreation of those boards before they fail, not after. Third, predictive visibility. If your condition monitoring tells you a component is degrading 30 to 60 days before it fails, you have a window to act. If you're running on reactive maintenance, a crisis like this removes every option you had. This is the engineering work that doesn't make headlines, but it's exactly what keeps platforms running when the world outside gets complicated. The Strait of Hormuz has been a pressure point since the 1980s, and every time it has reopened. Ceasefire talks are active. Naval escorts are working to move stranded crews to safety. The strait will reopen. But the lesson the offshore industry takes from every one of these events is the same. The window between normal operations and crisis is always shorter than anyone planned for. To every rig worker, maintenance engineer, and offshore operator navigating this right now, the work you do keeping critical systems running under pressure is exactly what the world depends on. It matters. If you want to think through your platform's E&I resilience, what your critical spares situation looks like, where your legacy system vulnerabilities are, that's a conversation worth having before the next disruption, not during it. Subscribe for more grounded analysis on what's actually happening in offshore energy. We'll see you in the next one.